Obviously you've had a good upbringing, good people around you, good friends and family around you. You just mentioned Ricky's name there, and obviously it's quite a sensitive time to be speaking about Rick, but the way that he carried himself as a champion, do you think that had a major influence on you and the way that you operate when you...
Ricky, a lot of people don't realise that Ricky early on in his career, right through, he's had loads of amateur shows, giving back, and I'd like to think I learned a lot from that because I was always at amateur shows.
Yeah.
I love going to watch amateur shows. Like, honestly, I'd love to be in here 3 or 4 nights a week, more than with this lot. I mean that. I mean it, I promise you. And then when I see a kid walk in with like not much confidence, then all of a sudden they're competing, having bouts. I love that. But he was there, and I think just how he spoke, and he'd always have time for everyone. And one of my mates always said it to me, like, sometimes your mate says, go, you're not out. Does it not do your head in? People coming up pissed up or not coming up doing that. And I go, hey, very soon it'll be someone else. There'll be someone else, and I'd never want that to get back. And it's not being fair. I never want someone going back, no, he was rude or this and that. Like, and I genuinely don't think anyone would ever say that about someone who's come up. You know, I'd always try and speak, try my best, because, like I said, if they're going to take their time out to come to you, so I've got boxing or to been at fights of yours, then the least you can do is give them a little bit of time back.
Yeah. It's again, just thinking, as you were speaking then, just thinking about Ricky. But one of the biggest tributes I think we could pay is, you know, like when people go on social media, and obviously they're talking about him a lot right now, the picture is always him giving his time in whatever environment it may be, whether it be boxing, whether it be in the pub, whether it be at the football, whatever it may be. How was it for you as a fighter that admired him? Because I can only really speak as a fan, then getting to know him, interviewing him later in life. How was it for you as a fighter that admired him, that then became close to him and learning from him, picking his brains?
It was, I remember, like, when I posed that, I said it, it was like your childhood hero. And I probably didn't realise just how, at the time, like I would say, like, Ricky, I wasn't the MEN days. My first fight I went to Ricky, he boxed Tommy Peacock at Oldham Leisure Centre, his Central Area title. So that was before, like,
the boom,
you know,
really.
yeah. And I was just, like I said, speak to him at amateur shows and stuff, and it probably wasn't like, I realised then, and one day that very man, and he'd become a promoter. He was at ringside, even when he wasn't full, I was at ringside cheering me on in like world title fights, you know, messaging me. Like, and I did have to pinch on things. Fuck you, Ricky, having a pint with my member, DL before Usyk Fury. And it was one of them probably moments there. And Ricky was going to Tenerife for Christmas and stuff. I was in the airport, bumped into Rick, and then sat down and had a drink with him, you know, like, obviously which I would, but it was a little bit like, you know, one of those, I remember being on the plane thinking, you know, Ricky was my childhood hero, and it's just like, it's mad that if someone would have told me years ago, no, you know, years later, you're going to become mates with him and stuff, and he's going to watch you fight, it wouldn't have seemed real.
What do you think his legacy is?
His legacy is most well-supported British boxer that's ever been, like, with the, you know, the travelling support, and it was just, he changed me, he changed a lot of British boxing, he really did. Every kid, if you ever come in an amateur gym, every kid was trying to box like him, to the frustration of their coaches. I was probably trying to box like that. I was like, what you doing? You know, that's not you, you get behind your jab and this and that. But people don't realise just how well Ricky done certain things, like his footwork was unbelievable, his jab was fantastic. But that kind of support every young man, but I think probably every British fighter at some point dreamed of having, you know, that kind of support Ricky had, and it was just, it was unreal. Like, I remember, like you say, the Costa Zoo, I was only like young, was a teenage, but he was talking about it for weeks and weeks, and I say it, that wasn't just one of the best nights in like Manchester, sort of like, you know, sporting, like one of the best nights in Manchester ever had, whether you want to talk sport, music, whatever you want to say. It was unreal, you know, 20,000, and He could have sold it out 3 times up, well, more than that. But I had in the early hours of the morning watching him fight one of the pound for pound. You know, he was right up there at the time when it cost us Zoo. So yeah, it was just about how to be remembered. Yeah, you know what? A man of the people. A man of the people who done unbelievable things.
He had a unique ability to unite people, not
Yeah,
just
he
through
did.
his fighting, but
Like,
just from being
no,
who
you
he
have,
was.
and you just got to look at it like the amount of Manchester United fans who went to watch Ricky. It wasn't about that. Oh, he's a blue. I'm not going. It wasn't like that. And listen, on a much smaller scale, I was lucky. Like there's little blues who come watch me as well because Ricky, what they watched with Ricky, he was one of the lads. He was one of the lads. People could see themselves in him. Yeah. Let's say probably one of the lads a bit too much at times, wasn't he? Bless him, but yeah.
What's it like then for you? You just mentioned the Costa Zoo fight, right? And being in there as a fan. I was there as a fan, but you've experienced then being stood in the ring, right?
Yeah.
On your big nights against the Perez's of this world and the Barrosas of this world. What's that like when you walk out at the arena that you've been there as a fan following Rick and you're doing your thing now?
Honestly, like, I always say this and I don't want to sound like a smart ass or like that. I'm like, you know, that feeling, it's so hard to describe. And, you know, walking out with thousands of people, it's like, you can't tell you the adrenaline and the feeling it gives you, people singing your name. It's, and that's, I mean, I was saying to you before, I don't know if I said it in my time, but like, and that's why people probably struggle after boxing.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get that high again. And I made peace that I wasn't going to get that high again. Through that way, I'll look for other ways through boxing. I get a massive satisfaction when one of the lads or girls goes out there, competes, follows out the plan, and they walk out for the arena. People singing their name. Like, I get it through them. You get it sort of second hand, but you still get a massive, massive buzz. But with Rick, I remember one of the fights, one of the Linares fights actually. I come up short, and but I remember thinking, looking over, I think it was the first fight, and seeing Ricky ringside, and like, you know, it was one of those moments when I thought, I just like give it back, and I thought, it's fucking Ricky there, sat ringside to watch me try and, you know, unify belts. And it's a proud memory. It is a proud memory. I wish I could have unified him that night, but yeah, it's a proud
Nearly
memory
did,
that
mate.
he
You were a
was.
tight one, that first one, wasn't it?
First one, yeah. So he caught that thing, you there, going well for one. Then obviously he won on points. Then there wasn't loads in it, but he won on points. And but I think now Ricky was there watching me ringside. It was, yeah, it's real. There's probably a million places he could have been, but he was there watching another Manchester lad.